last we left our heroes, you guys were about to strike out towards Nala. You had all met back up at the van. I did want to go over briefly just some reminders. There was a lot of information thrown at you, Dane, through the course of the dream that you had and the meeting with Madame Pousseau. And so I just wanted to quickly go back over some of the revelations that Dane had. So the big one was that your spirit left your body and you went back to your hometown, your temple town, and your master gave you that egg, which I don't think you've revealed to anybody yet. And
no, I have not.
And before he had his head lopped off, he held up a ring that you've never seen before he was wearing, and on it was emblazoned the symbol of a white flame. And he did this as kind of a final message to you, so Dane would see this as quite important because it was his final thing that he indicated to you before his death. Other than that, Korak has finally finished the construction of his basilisk tooth spear, which he now has. And let's see. Ishtar, you had sent me a backstory. I need to pull that up and just refresh myself on it. But can you give me a basic rundown? I know he was a noble, but give me kind of a basic rundown of where Ishtar's at in terms of, give me the abridged version of his backstory.
You're muted.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Lewich was the intrigue city. That's where he's from. His dad was a soldier in the Black Wars. Ishtar, it's unknown who his mom was. Ishtar was left at in a basket at the guy's wife's house. So it was kind of a bastard son. He took off with an elven bard.
That's right.
Kind of for adventure. He's kind of taught me the ropes of the minstrel. And I also grew up with a gang of kids. I forget what I called them. It was like the Bones or something. That's where I learned my roguish skills. And then I think how I tied it into this story was Korak outside the arena in Nala. You threw me the ring. And then, not long after that, I got knocked out, and the ring was taken from me. Me and Orso tracked him to a band of, I think it was the band of Knolls. We went to try and get it back. I got captured, and Orso got killed in the raid.
That's right.
And pretty much that's where you guys found me, was in the jail cart. That's kind of the abridged. That's the abridged version.
Yeah, I found it, and that's pretty good. You covered all the main points.
I guess I kind of come from kind of nobility. The guy was my father. He was a common soldier who performed very well during the Black Wars. So he was granted minor lordship. So I guess kind of nobility, but not.
Yeah, it was more linked to your last name and your father's fame in the war.
Yep.
Okay.
What they call Parator.
Yep, Parator.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I'm just trying to get all of that squared away because you're going back to Nala, and it might.
Lewich was where more of my backstory, but
yeah.
I probably have a name, and I probably do have a name in Nala.
And then
actually, I was gonna work on making an exploit about that. Pretty much any town or city I go into, There's a chance I'm just known for like my minstrel feats.
Yeah, that would be just rules as written with no extra exploits. That would be straight up reputation stat.
Oh, that's true. I do have a pretty good rep.
And then Tarask, well, you're just dealing with a whole bunch of stuff now, aren't you?
And Ishtar we left.
Mommy dearest.
Yes.
Like the funeral, not really a funeral procession, but it was more keeping the town in its spirits.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys had all met back up, and you've got fresh... your horses have been refreshed. Your cart is all fixed up.
Leaving the town, that's right, yeah.
Oiled up, all set to go. You've got enough provisions for your travel. Before you leave, Madame Pousseau gives you all a map of that has it charted out the easiest way to get directly to Nala. And she hands it to you, and I have it. I just gotta find it. There it is. And I'll show it to you right here. So you guys are up there in Oddwald, and she's just kind of charted out for you the easiest way to get to Nala from where you're at. And it kind of skirts along some grassy plains, and then down near some mountains, mostly for navigational purposes, and then straight into some tougher terrain, but there's roads that would bring you up into the big city. So overall, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hexes at 30 miles each. That's 330 miles. At a speed of 6 with your horses and cart, you're moving at about a hex and a half a day. So 3 hexes every 2 days. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure out how many checks we're going to need here. So if it's 3 hexes every 2 days, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're going to need 7 checks total throughout this journey to see how things go. And so on and so forth. Let me roll for weather and we will get started. First, I want to go over I want to see what everybody's doing. So, as I kind of reread the wilderness and traveling rules, I realized that the tasks that are laid out in the book for you to accomplish aren't necessarily hard and fast tasks that need to be accomplished. So yeah, scouting needs to be covered and navigating and food, but how you fulfill those can be kind of character specific. So the point of the traveling thing is that everybody is doing something. Everybody has a check that they make that they can either succeed or fail at. So you have to contribute to the party, otherwise you are hindering the party. So let's get some weather going on as you guys strike out. You get a 6. It's a warm, pleasant day today. And it shall be for the foreseeable future. So you all need to make checks. They will all be challenging. So 13 or higher. Tarask automatically succeeds at his hunter check. However, since you're moving faster, it is going to matter what you find. So instead of rolling to see if you succeed or not, I'm just going to have you roll to see how many rations you find or you're able to acquire, and that's just going to be 2d6.
Oh, okay.
And then if you have a pen and paper, just keep track of your rations. You all need 1 ration per day.
5 to 4 to 1. 5 total.
Okay. Just mark that down for this first little leg of the journey. And also keep in mind, guys, that while you're traveling, if you at any point want to stop and explore a hex, you can do that. Exploring means you're instead of just passing through it, you are trying to find every bit of detail inside of this particular 30-mile hex.
Should I record 5, or should I record 1? Because that's the net balance after the 4 of us eat.
You can keep track of it how you want, but yeah, it's...
I mean, by the end of this day, it'll be 1, right? Until tomorrow.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to write both numbers, but I'll record it my way. But I got it. Cool.
We need a roll for the guide, and that's a logic test.
Not me.
Okay, if I recall correctly, for me, that's 3d6 for my character, so I'll go ahead and do that. You said the challenge point is 13?
Yes.
And we recharge luck dice our luck dice recharge each day, correct?
Think of it as things like that, like your health and luck pools are in manual mode as opposed to automatic transmission. Once a day, you can do those things. However, they don't happen automatically. You have to actually state that you're doing it, and then once you've done it for that day, you can't do it again.
Okay. All right. I'm just to kind of help me along. I'm going to 13. I'm going to go ahead and use a luck dice for my 36, and I've got a die designated for luck. So you have got to be kidding me. I rolled 3 1s.
I know the feeling.
And the 6. So I rolled a whopping 9. So nothing.
Well, that's our guide. That's our navigation, right?
That was guide. Yeah, that was the guide check.
Yes, it was. Okay, I need somebody to make a lookout check. It's intuition.
I can go for that one.
Is that a perception?
Sure.
Okay. And can I use survival?
You can use either perception skill or survival.
Oh, okay, that's right. Perception is okay. So I have a 46. Anyone got higher than that?
I got 46 also.
Okay. 17.
All right, that's a success. And Ishtar, what are you going to do?
What's left?
Morale.
Encourage us with song.
Morale.
Yeah, you got something that'll allow us to reroll 1s or roll an extra d6 or something?
Only an initiative.
Nah.
I do my courage song.
I mean, so what's the check on the morale? Because he should have.
Oh, it's a charisma test.
Okay.
So you definitely have a better charisma than Korak, so this should definitely be our general roles.
Korak has a pretty good charisma.
Yeah, I guess he is champion.
14.
A 14?
Yeah, 14.
It's all about playing the crowd.
Okay, the first part of your journey goes off without a hitch. You guys stroll out of town, heroes of the this area, and as you guys are heading out of the village, Korak, the little boy that you had been kind of showing some moves out in the field, he runs up to you. He tries to catch up to you, and he hands you a little something that he made. And when you look at it, it's a twined, just a little bracelet that he clearly spent some time making, and he hands it to you, and he says, "This is for you, Mr. Korak."
Thank you. Now keep up your training, and don't become distracted.
And Tarask, as you are making your way out, you catch a glimpse of that little 5-year-old girl who had kind of taken to you, and she's just holding her teddy bear just kind of like right here, so you can't really see her face, and she's just kind of waving bye to you.
Tarask kind of speeds up his step and tries not to make eye contact.
Dane, you see Madame Pousseau. She's over there. She's always been very kind of haggard. You know, she's missing teeth or whatever, but she gives you a little wink.
I casually wave and I casually wave, and then I immediately put my mind to my beloved
And Ishtar, the person that approaches you is actually the man you guys met when you first entered the village. The man who is the father of those 2 children. And he kind of comes up to you all. And shotgun guy. And he kind of comes up to you all, and he takes his hat off, and he brings it down, and he says, "You know, I can't thank you all enough for coming and doing what you did. And y'all are always welcome here, even the orc."
All right, thank you.
Anytime.
And he'll say, "I know it might not be much, but maybe you got more use for this than I do. I've got other ones at home I can use." But he'll hand out to whoever will take it his double barrel shotgun that he was using when you met him.
No, Tarask would turn away from that. He'd think that was disgusting.
What would they use it skill wise to like attribute wise?
It's a ranged weapon, so ranged attacks use agility or intuition. And then skill wise, it would just be guns.
If nobody takes it, I will take it, but only to just have in our possession. Does he also provide us with the necessary materials to be able to load said weapon?
Yes. Yeah, you estimate, if you look in the baggie, that there's about 10 shots worth of powder and wads and steel balls.
Okay.
I can use it, but it's probably
I'll think.
Same skill as my. It's the same skill as my bow. Pretty much the same roll.
Yeah, minus any bonus you get from your bow's skill. Muskets is the skill that would be required to gain any benefit. Yep.
Now, I turn to him and I ask, "Are you sure that you can part with this?"
He says,
"What happens if there is some other enemy that approaches?"
He says, "I got plenty of guns. Don't you worry about me."
Okay.
No, I'll take. Like I said, I'll thank him for it, and I'll take it, and I'll actually put it inside the wagon, but put it within easy reach of whomever wants to make use of it.
Okay.
I personally have no use for it, but he's offering it, so I'm going to take it so somebody can use it if we need to.
Okay, yeah, it is basically the entry for the twin barrel pistol. I'm sure it's probably actually listed in the supplement that's released for guns, but I'm looking just at the core rules, and there's a twin barrel pistol there. Except I'm going to combine that with the musket, so it's basically 2 times 2d6. So it's essentially a 4d6 weapon that can be shot. Well, 2d6 for each side, and each side can be shot with with both sides can be shot with one action at the same time. So there's a potential.
So you can shoot one at a time, or you can shoot both at once.
Yeah, exactly. And if you shoot both at once, there's a potential of up to 4d6 plus 2 ballistic damage from that bad boy. So, yep, and he'll take his leave, and
Is the gun have a name?
he says, what kind of superstitious... no, it doesn't have a name.
Okay.
Yeah, don't insult the heroes that just saved your village.
Yes, and they all happily wave off, and you all happily skip into the distance, forward 2 hexes, with no ill fortune coming your way. Yet, let's see. So we're going to... How long have we been traveling? So it's been about 2 days, and we'll say you'll have to stop a night somewhere in there to rest. And that, as long as your fortune is going well, which it is, should go off without a hitch. However, you guys can continue to go and kind of press on at the detriment of your fortune score, which is currently at 2.
What's the fortune score?
If we're doing well, we might as well.
I mean, are you saying rest or continue without resting, and our fortune will go down?
Exactly.
Okay, I think we should rest.
Hey everybody, I'm gonna do the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard 10-inch.
I didn't hear anything you just said.
Sorry, a video that I recorded on my computer like an hour ago just suddenly started playing on my computer. I was like, mute something. Something mute. Sorry about that. Sorry, actually, before I had asked what the fortune score was, I forgot. So that's essentially just like the likelihood of something going wrong. I would look at the party, I think, at this point and just say, you know, should I start looking for a good place to pull a card in for the night?
That sounds like a good idea, actually.
Yeah,
I agree.
Right.
Yep.
So Taras will kind of go, just jog out there a little bit and just kind of try to scope out a nice place. Actually putting effort into this.
Yeah, so you guys are setting up camp and everything. Why don't you all make perception checks for me as you're just kind of getting a lay of the land and just getting set up for the night.
17.
8.
10.
I think I ask this every time.
Intuition.
Which one? Yeah. 10.
Korak, you notice off in the distance a deserted farm whose owners had apparently left in quite a hurry. There's still livestock there. There's still a plow outside and things of that nature. So as you're setting up, yeah, you notice this farm off in the distance.
Okay. So I can tell from here that it appears abandoned.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming like you're kind of maybe gathering some firewood, like doing typical camp, getting ready to camp kind of stuff, and you happen to notice off in the distance this farm.
Okay. So I will bring the firewood back and let my colleagues know. Hey guys, there's a farm up there. Doesn't seem to have any people, but it does have possible food or livestock.
Could be a roof over our head.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Shall we go check it out?
Sounds like a good
Yes,
idea.
let's be cautious though.
How far are we talking, by the way?
Oh, maybe a mile.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not that far. Not even that far. Maybe half a mile. You guys are able to trek over to this barn and farm, and when you get there, yes, it looks like some well-fed animals, a plow that seems to have stopped halfway through its work, and a perfectly intact farmhouse there for the use.
I'd be willing to even bring the wagon along for this one if it's that short of a distance.
Well, I say we check it out first because people normally don't just abandon their farms and livestock in the middle of something. So,
I think we would have. So does that mean we brought the cart this far at least, like far enough to see that everything was abandoned halfway?
Yeah. If Dane's rearing the cart towards, you guys are close enough to see that things are pretty much abandoned.
Okay. So yeah, if we leave it there, it's real close. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, honestly, you guys, you do your due diligence in making sure this farm is all cleared out and everything, and it literally just appears that the people who were here just up and left behind whatever. Left behind everything to go somewhere in a hurry, and it's a free lodging for the night.
okay.
Does the farmhouse have a basement and or attic?
It would certainly have an attic.
Okay.
Basement, if it did, it would be nothing more than a wine cellar.
Okay. Essentially, I'm just, again, part of the due diligence is making sure there isn't anything in either of those areas, because that's where that's where the bodies could be kept.
Fair enough. Make a perception check.
Okay.
And if you have any, well, it would be intuition, but if you have anything like investigation or tracking or anything
Yes,
like
I do have investigation, actually, so I'll be
There you go.
4d6 for me. There we go. That's what I was looking for. 18.
Let's see. Yes, in this wine cellar that you have discovered, you open it up, and in there you find just boatloads of vintage wine.
Okay.
Just chillaxing down there. Bottles on the walls, barrels filled with presumably wine or hops.
Very nice. I will actually grab I'm not going crazy. I'm going to grab 2 bottles and bring them up and say, my friends, we shall dine well this evening. And I hold up the bottles. I hold up these 2 bottles of wine.
Oh, Isteran gets a huge smile when he sees bottles of wine.
I think I could partake tonight.
I don't know how everyone feels about possibly if we're going to go ahead and just deal with our rations, or if we're going to or if we're going to be if anyone feels so emboldened as to slaughter a fattened calf.
Okay, what type of livestock is here?
There are about 3 or 4 donkeys in a pen off to the right of the farmhouse, and then in the main kind of acre of land out front of this that butts up against a mountain, the beginning of a mountain, so it'd be a forested kind of area that begins to slope up, are probably about 5 or 6 cows just grazing, and they're fenced off with some kind of, minimal fencing, because cows don't necessarily, cows that know better don't necessarily jump fences all too often. So,
okay,
and some chickens running around.
how about we do chicken tonight rather than fatted calves?
I have no objection either way.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Saves the rations another day.
So, can I use my hook to see what I can cook up?
Certainly.
So that would probably be logic and I don't know, survival maybe. I don't know on that one. I'm gonna have to take cooking as a skill at one point.
Yeah. In this case, it's not much of a survival situation.
Right. Yeah.
So I think logic, but it would explode.
Right. Yeah. So, okay, let's hope it explodes, guys. Okay. No. 7.
Well, you didn't succeed at beating some cocks.
Well, that escalated quickly. So yeah, like this kind of poultry, you're not like, you're used to like feasting on big game that you fought hard for. These little chickens, they kind of fall apart in your hand when you pick them up, and you just kind of, they're flopping around, and you just kind of screw up cooking them, and some of them are burnt and still have the feathers on or whatever, and the wine helps for sure.
It helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, but alas, your love of food has not served you all too well this evening. And yeah, the night presses on, and you guys all, unless there's anything else you wanted to do tonight, Tarask, was there anything else you wanted to do?
No, I think though at some point Tarask would have come over to Korak because he found something peculiar. So he just would say to Korak, "Did you notice that when we left, the man said, what did he say? Even you, orc? Is that common?"
Probably.
I find that odd. I
There
was
aren't-
much meaner to them.
There aren't too many orcs around here.
I suppose, but there aren't too many elves either.
True. I don't know.
Might have to
Didn't
watch
really-
your back around these humans.
Okay, I'll
Well,
take
people
your
do
advice.
Tarask is becoming increasingly wary of these human things. but that would be that. And yeah, for the rest of
Okay.
the night he would be.
Well, thank you. I will definitely, take your advice and be careful around these humans, even the ones we're traveling with.
Kind of looks over. I think he would be looking into the other room, just kind of eyeing them a little bit, just like, I haven't made up my mind yet. Probably
Okay.
not.
I do think we should post guards tonight.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I don't need much sleep anyway, so if you'd like, I could take the first one.
Sure, I'll take the last.
Yeah, Korak, you would know from traveling with Tarask that he can essentially, he doesn't need sleep. He just meditates and he goes into a deep meditation state. It lessens his senses for sure, but he still has proven himself pretty reliable at keeping watch even while meditating.
Right. Okay.
Before we the characters go down for night, Ishtar wants to kind of go through the house. Is there anything valuable?
Yeah, you can make an investigation check as well. Be just intuition plus. Do you have any skills that you think would apply in this situation?
Thievery.
No, not this time. That's more the act of legerdemain.
15.
Yeah, you're able to identify some jewelry in the master bedroom here that has been left behind. One of them is a very pretty silver necklace that comes down with an onyx pendant at the bottom. You figure that might be worth at least 100 to 150 gold pieces. And the other thing you find is what would look like a set of... They're arranged in a way that would imply that they're like engagement or wedding marriage rings. And they are made of some combination of gold and silver and gemstones.
Any names on them or identifying?
When you look closer and you look inside the band, you see a name inscribed inside each of the bands, and it's the same name. Why don't you tell me what that name is?
Let's see. Is it a human name?
It can be whatever you want. Probably not an ogre name, though. Probably. I don't think ogres would be in...
Raptor.
Yeah.
What's your problem with ogres?
Well, I don't think they'd have the dexterity to inscribe names on little human rings. They're kind of big.
It's the Smith family.
So just Smith?
Yep.
Okay. So you would know, because you're a thieving bastard, that the name inscribed on rings isn't the one inscribed inside the inner ring of rings would be the person who crafted the ring, not the person who it was crafted for. So when it says Smith, all it says is Smith, and then it has a small logo that looks like a diamond shape with kind of just a plus sign going through it. So if I can draw it really quick, it's like a almost like a kite.
Okay.
And it just has that little emblem chiseled in next to the name Smith.
The people who are guarding, were you guys going to station yourselves? Because I was thinking the last thing I want to have happen is have the wagon get ransacked or have our horses killed by some random bandits that may come our way. Because I would think they would go after that before they came to the house. Unless we want to move the wagon into an area for safety.
I mean, is there an outbuilding like a barn?
This farmhouse appears to be the only actual building. There is a workshop, but there isn't any other barns or silos or anything like that. These people don't appear to be much crop growers, as they are just a small family farm living out here off the land. So there's a storage shed and a workshop.
But how about we just pull the wagon up next to the house? Take the horses, make sure that they're not hooked up to the wagon all night, and I don't. Can we put horses with donkeys?
The workshop / storage shed actually has a place for some horses, so you're able to tie them up there because whoever was living here and left took their horses, so there's a spot for some horses there. You're able to get your horses nice and situated with some hay and food and all that great kind of horse stuff.
We might want to get the gun out too and like prop that up by a window or something.
Yeah.
All we need is someone to take that and use it against us.
So looking at this, does it look like they left of their own accord?
Do you have anything like investigation?
Initially I was going through, was there like anything? He was looking more for valuables, but was there anything like out of the ordinary he would have seen?
The bed wasn't made. But that's not necessarily out of the ordinary. There appears to be a normal amount of clothes around. It doesn't look like there was any struggle here or anything like that. It just looks like the people aren't home right now and nobody's here.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm ready to turn in, and like I said, I can take a watch in the early hours of the morning.
You have a chicken feather stuck in your teeth while you're talking.
How many shifts do we need for watch then?
Probably just 2. Because Tarask can take it for most of the night, and then he would just need one other person really to finish up.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah,
I'm about to say it sounded like you guys already agreed to taking watches already, so.
And yeah, he just basically wants to get up early and start like doing his routine with his new spear and sort of test it out.
Okay, you guys, you hunker down for the evening, and the sun sets. You eat merrily, drink heartily, and all is well. Let's see. I want Tarask to roll a perception check for me while you are meditating. If you're still there.
Sorry, I was on mute. Is that going to affect the roll in any way that I'm
No.
Okay. That is a 13.
Okay. About 3 hours after everybody is asleep, it's the middle of the night. You would wager, in the way that we understand time, it would be close to midnight. and you hear. Let me show you where you guys are at right now, and you can kind of see you are right here. You've traveled 3 hexes from Oddwald, so not including Oddwald's hex, you've gone 1, 2, 3, and you're right on top of that first grassy hex that pokes up. So you're right here. And in fact, you are right down near the bottom of this hex where you found this farmhouse. And one of the things that you hear in the middle of the night is, apart from some random wolves howling and things like that you would normally hear out here in the wilderness, you hear a lot of rustling in the bushes and just tons of activity out there in the tall grass and into the thick weeds and what have you.
Trask's eyes would snap open, kind of coming out of the meditation, and reach over and grab his bow that he had just maintained there while he was starting his watch. And he would stand up and just kind of do like a slow walk forward, basically just trying to pay extra attention there, see if he can determine anything that he can, about whatever's going on.
Okay, make one more perception test for me then. 10. Nothing else seems to catch your eye when you look out there. The rustling continues a little bit in the bush and everything, but nothing else seems to catch your attention, and you might figure that it's like a fox chasing a bunny or something of that nature, some kind of small game, just doing what they do.
So he would basically go back to his spot then, but probably not be able to start meditation right away.
Yeah, eventually though, you do, you get in your meditative state, and then as enough time passes, you switch shifts with Korak, who then will focus in on his surroundings and make a perception test for the GM.
You said Korak, right?
I did.
14.
Okay, so you hear much of the same. It's a little less active as the way I described it to Tarask, but one thing pokes out to you in particular, and that is, maybe it was just your mind messing with you. It could have even been the wind. You're not even 100% sure, but you thought you heard a woman's voice. And it sounded like in desperation, like, or something like that. But it could have been the wind. It could have been anything. You're just not 100% sure about what you heard. But your first blush, it caught your attention because you're like, that sounded like a woman. That was weird.
Sorry, everyone. I'm waking up the party.
Yeah, at this point, it's probably about 2:00 in the morning. And you guys can hear Korak. He comes rumbling in and stirs everybody.
I think I heard a woman out there somewhere, possibly in trouble.
I think Tarask is going to kind of give him like the one eye higher than the other, the one eyebrow higher than the other look, kind of like, Korak, there's everywhere we go, you seem to think there's people needing your help. I just don't think there's anybody here.
So I'm going to go do a round and explore. I will whistle if something happens. And he'll head out the door.
Is there
Head
any
in
type of light?
I don't need light.
No, but for like it's my character. Is there like any type of light at all?
It is pitch black. Yeah, I mean it's a starry, moonlit night. It's slightly cloudy, so it's not that moonlit. It's not like one of those really bright moonlit nights, but it's your eyes could adjust and you could see decently in the dark. But it is still very dark. So Korak, as you venture out, as you approach the sound of the rustling in the bushes and everything, it stops, much the same way that crickets stop when you get close to them. And you make your way out there. You maybe even start wading through these weeds a little bit to see, and you stop and you listen again. And the just like crickets, the rustling in the bushes picks back up again once you stop, just further away, like they moved. And make another perception test for me.
Okay, triple sixes and a 2. So that's 20.
Okay, so for the triple sixes, just add 1 luck die to your dice pool.
Okay.
And you might need it. Let's see. You said you rolled a 20?
20.
Dang, yo. All right, hold on.
I missed it by 1, didn't I?
No, you beat it by 1. You see, just barely, a tiny figure, maybe 2 to 3 feet tall, dashing through the grass, and you only see it because it's moving along in this grass, and your dark vision is able to help you see this. And you noted the first thing that you notice is this thing is actually invisible, and you were somehow able to track it and see just its distortion of its outline as it goes across. So you suddenly realize that whatever is running around out here isn't a natural game creature. They're small little invisible shits, whatever they are.
Okay. So now it's running away from me, or
just kind of perpendicular. Or
okay.
Is it parallel? No, perpendicular, going the other way in front of you.
Okay. So I whistle loudly.
The three of you, having been previously awoken, you were maybe just starting to kind of doze back off asleep. Why don't the three of you make perception tests for me? Ishtar, Korak, or not Korak, Dane, and
Straight perception?
Trask. Yes.
10.
9.
$15.
Okay, Ishtar and Tarask, you guys hear the whistle. Dane, you had just a little too much more to drink than you had it planned on having, and you don't quite hear it. You do hear, however, your companions getting up and rustling about, heading out the door.
Okay. I'll get up, regretting my loss of focus.
As this star leaves, he grabs the gun.
Okay, Tarask, are you headed out as well?
Yeah. God's be damned, Korak.
He just had to go see what it was. So, Korak.
Yes.
Korak. Let's see. 10, 12, 16, 17, 18. Does that beat
That's
your...
how much damage you just took.
No. Does that beat your mental defense?
My which defense?
Mental.
Mental. Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. So, this is going to get interesting because of the new conditions and everything. So let me just pull them up really quick. You feel something come over you. That something will be revealed in a moment. It's this one. Is it that one, or is it manic? There we go. So you suddenly feel just completely non-aggressive towards these little things, and you almost feel this sense of amicability towards these little things, whatever they are. You kind of feel like you want to kneel down and talk to them, or you're overcome with a likability towards them that makes you not want to attack them at all. And in fact, you cannot take hostile or aggressive actions toward them or towards anyone at this point.
Okay. I hadn't really planned on it yet.
Okay, as the three of your companions come out, I need you all three to make perception tests as well.
Huh, 11.
I don't see Jack.
12.
7. Dice are banished.
12 for me.
Top. Okay, you see Korak looking at things, and you see bushes and stuff like that moving, but none of you can see what he's looking at. To you, it just looks like he's just looking at nothing as you approach him.
Do we hear the leaves rustling?
Oh yeah, that's easily audible.
Come, guys, look. There are cute little invisible things running around.
Exactly.
Can't you see them?
And I thought I had too much wine.
There's one right there. Oh, nope, one going that way.
So Korak's literally like going like, look, there's one. There's a cute thing. There's one.
Yep, exactly.
Upon hearing Korak, I turn around and go back to the wine cellar to see if there's more than just 2 bottles of wine missing. And then I come back.
Not yet.
Well, what do we do about... I mean, what did he put in that chicken?
So I will try to talk to them. It's like, can you what are you guys? What are you doing?
We just see Korak start to talk to the bush.
Yeah, exactly. But as soon as he starts talking, all of the rustling in the bushes stops. And you hear a voice that sounds like... And then they start to move again.
Did I understand a single word of it?
No, it sounded literally just like that to Korak.
Okay.
I know what I want Ishtar to do. But...
Can you say that slower and a little louder?
Okay, as soon as you say that, you feel another wave of this compulsion come over you, and you hit the ground laughing. Like, just maniacally. You burst out on the ground. Something is hilarious to Korak right now.
Okay.
All right. This is obviously very suspicious. Now, I'm gonna assume Ishtar knows, like, when he does his songs, kind of the effects it has, right? As for a minstrel.
Oh yeah, you would be completely aware of the emotion you're trying to invoke when you're playing any songs.
So I'm gonna try and see if my courage and see if that'll like break him out of this.
Yeah, okay.
Because the first level he gets a +4 to mental defenses. And
Oh yeah, for sure.
The second level he's immune to any fear effects.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
But this wouldn't be if this isn't a fear effect.
No, but he get immune and he get the bonus.
yeah, so for
Okay.
this first one, Korak, what I want you to do is just roll a 1d6 to see if you can shake off this condition as he starts to play.
Okay. 2.
Okay, so his song starts to come over you, and you're able to regain you're like, and you hear a song, and then you're just like, yeah, oh, Ishtar, and you keep on laughing. Then
Anyone else in the vicinity would get that bonus too.
Oh, nice.
that's good. That's good because we're about to roll initiative. So everybody roll initiative for me.
Defense.
So everybody gets +4 to mental defense, including you.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Now, am I rolling initiative as well?
Yes.
8.
Oh, jeez. 11, 12, 13, 14. Wow. Oh yeah, we were doing initiative.
8.
All right, Ishtar, what did you have?
14. I just sent a little like message. Yeah,
Oh yes, good.
I rolled 16 for correct.
All right, and Tarask, you said you got a 10?
An 8.
Oh, 8. Shouldn't have said anything. And Dane.
8.
Oh. Well, okay then.
So I'm rereading the dimensional thing that says allows you to move those within your 30, but I took a 60 foot.
Oh, wait.
Who can hear you one stage up or down? So I don't know. Technically, I guess that's not the way it's written. May not be me, but that's I guess more your call. It says each time move those within your range who can hear you up or down the status track.
I'd say you're within your own range. You could selectively target yourself or not.
I have the 60-foot projection too, so
yeah.
anyone within 60 feet of me can hear me.
And in my mind, a musician has to, in order to invoke some emotions or courage in the people he's attempting to affect, has to be able to.
I'm just worried the way it's written. I was like, maybe not me, but okay.
Has to be able to feel those things himself. Yes. What's that, Rory?
I think I have to add a d6 to the initiative. I just want to ask, is dodge a tactic or a reaction?
No, tactics or reactions are their own skills.
Gotcha. Never mind. Hated it.
All right, dodge does add to your defense though, so make sure that's added in there.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all good.
Okay, cool. Okay, first up then is Korak, who basically has to spend his actions rolling a d6.
So this is to break.
Yep.
Okay. So that's all you do is roll a d6 for shaking off?
Yep, that's the new
Okay.
conditions.
4.
Then that does it.
Okay.
Yep, you're able to shake it off, and yeah, as severe. Yeah, and we're gonna say that because you've got that bonus. That's fine. So you use your first action to regain your composure, and but you're still on the ground, lying prone.
Quick stand, which is a. Actually, I'm. So was that? I was laughing so hard I got the downed condition because I'm actually immune to that.
I see that's probably you're immune to downed from like combat, or because I just saw it as you were rolling on the floor laughing.
Okay. Well, I have quick stand anyway, so I just stand up.
Okay.
Yeah, the way they reworded quick stand in the errata, it just says that I stand as a free action. And
Okay.
I'm immune to the prone condition. So, okay. So now, basically, they just attacked me with a mental attack.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not real happy about that.
No, you all see Korak's countenance change. He's laughing 1 second, and then in the next second he stands up really quick and he's like, "The hell was that?"
So the new spear starts spinning, and as one of them runs by, I just like bat with the one end.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Okay.
And I'm just going to use your previous perception test as a, you're still able to spot them.
Okay. Okay, so that is 10, 14, 17, 19.
Ooh. You swing wildly, and it's able to dodge out of the way, just barely.
Okay.
And next up we have Ishtar. You see Korak's cutting the grass in front of you.
All right. So I haven't even seen anything yet, though, have I?
You have not.
No. Okay. Something, but I know something odd is going on. So I think my actions, I'm gonna keep up the song.
Okay, so your first action is going to grant everybody immunity to fear.
Yeah, and with still the +4 bonus.
Yep.
And I figure I can't really do. I probably need both hands to play, so I can't.
I'd say you've played your lick, and you've given the condition that, and you don't have to continue playing in order to maintain the condition. The condition will last temporarily, and then if you decide to continue playing, it will continue to last. So you'd be able to use.
Like, do I every round I have to keep that going, or?
The condition should last. Let me see. I'm not seeing anything immediately, so I'm just going to say that the condition will last for a minute.
Okay.
Which,
after a minute, I would have to like restart it.
Yeah, in game round time is going to be like 10 rounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So my first action, I keep the song going, so we get the full courage effect. And then my second action is I'm pulling out. I have a gouge. I'm gonna pull that out.
Okay.
Where are we? Are we like we're surrounded by like bushes and trees, right?
Mostly just bushes, not a whole lot of trees.
And it's pitch dark, so yeah, I'm useless at range right now, so I'll pull out my main gouge.
Just be at the ready.
Yeah, pretty much already, yeah. Since I know Ishtar hasn't seen it, but something's weird.
Yeah. And in fact, it's their turn. And let's see. As you play your song, and you warily put your lute back and you pull out your sword, you feel a touch of magic come over you. 6, 8, 10, 11. Does 11 beat your mental defense? Probably not, with a plus 4.
Now.
What's that?
Not now.
Okay. And that was one of them. Another one is going to Tarask. You feel a touch of magic wash over you. 9, 12, 14, 15 against your mental defense. Don't forget to add a plus 4.
I get a plus 4, so 15 is my mental defense.
Okay, so just barely, but it takes hold. And this washes over you, and you try your best to resist it, but you didn't anticipate its potency. And you feel a bout of insanity come over you. And the target's... I'll just read this. The target's actions each round are randomly determined. Roll 1d6. On a 1, attack the nearest creature. On a 2, flee. On a 3, babble incoherently. On a 4, you switch sides. On a 5, you become joyous. And on a 6, you become enraged.
Alright, well, let's see here.
So, yeah, why don't we have you roll it? Just a 1d6. And tell me what you get.
A 4.
A 4, you switch sides. So... Yes, for this, until you're able to attempt to shake this off, which you can attempt to do, as an action, that you are seeing your allies as foes. And then there was one more bout of magic that attempts to wash over Dane.
Gotta be an 18.
10, 14... 17, 22, 23?
Oh my god, yes, you beat me. Okay. All right, roll D6.
Yes.
3.
You babble incoherently.
Okay,
Yes.
so I become the great Kali. Got it.
Yep. So next up is Tarask.
Okay. There's 3 other companions, right? That's
Yes.
how many people are in my party. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so Dane is 1 and 2. Ishtar is 3 and 4. And 4.
Now, before you attack anybody, you should make a roll to see if you can shake off this insanity.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So what is that again? That's
Just that now it's just a 1d6, and you're looking for a 4, a 5, or a 6 to shake it off.
6.
You got a 6?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, you're able to shake this off, and for a moment you look at your friends and you just really want to kill them.
Yeah, no, I am. My bow is pointed directly at Ishtar right now. But I kind of shake my head a little bit, and
Start pulling the loop back out.
am I able to see them at this moment?
Make a perception test.
Okay.
And this one's going to be a little bit easier because as they're casting their magic, they reveal themselves a little bit.
All right, that's pretty good. I got a 16.
Okay, just a second. 10. Ooh, 15. Yes, you're able to spot one. You're able to spot the one that just cast on Dane.
Okay, so I get 2 shots, and the first one I'm gonna use my Deadeye exploit, and I'm just gonna hit it automatically.
Okay, so really quick, it took you 1 action to shake off the insanity.
Okay,
So
so,
you got-
then this is my one attack then. So
yeah.
I'll still use the Deadeye though. I
Okay,
would
cool.
guarantee a hit on this one. So I have my high quality bow here, and I roll a 12 plus 2 is 14
For damage?
for damage.
God damn. All right, hold on.
Yeah, man. I can shoot a bow.
Apparently.
All right, you pelt this little creature with an arrow, and it sticks into its bony little shoulder, and all of a sudden it appears. And Korak, you're able to see it pretty clearly. The rest of you, not so much, but you're still able to see it enough to... I'm just going to show you a picture of it anyway. So it looks like this. It's just this weird-looking, bony... fey type creature that appears to be made out of like wood bark and bone. It's hard to describe what this thing really looks like, but
So we see it more like kind of fading in and out of the vision, pretty much, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And I see that when I hit it? Like
Yeah.
that's what I see?
yeah. As soon as it pelts, it breaks its invisibility, and you're able to see that thing standing there, and it screeches in pain.
Okay, I think Tarask is definitely going to react to that. He's going to basically kind of shake his head a little bit and just be like, "They're fey. They're of the woods. Creatures, halt. We mean you no harm." And he's going to shout that out.
Yeah, this thing is screeching in pain.
And he's just going to kind of curse himself for shooting at it.
Yeah, you
That's
see
it.
this amber-colored sap blood come out of its wound and drip down onto its chest. Next, then, would be Dane, who is babbling incoherently. Roll a 1d6 for me, Dane.
Nope, I don't break it. Roll a 2. You guys remember Bruce Almighty, the part where Steve is it Carell's character? That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Thank you. Take a luck die for doing that so well. Korak.
Awesome.
Korak, you're up. You see this thing get pelted with an arrow, and it appears right in front of you.
Okay, and I, basically, as things are happening so quickly, I am preparing to strike it down when I hear Tarask yelled at. And I guess as a free action, I'll say, "Are these friends of yours?"
They're in the forest, but we've enraged them. It's too late.
Okay, that's all I need. Okay, so sorry, poor guy, but I will do my attacks, and as it is I'll do both my attacks, which since I am dual wielding and ambidextrous, I will now have 3 attacks.
First attack with the new weapon.
Well, his first attack was cutting grass.
Oh my god. I cannot believe that.
Here
Okay,
comes
my
the
first-
pain.
So I rolled a 10 on 6d6.
Congratulations, that's terrible.
Yes, it is. So my first attack continues to cut grass.
Mm-hmm.
That's the OLD equivalent of rolling a 3 in combat in D&D.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Dane is over there like, blah, 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 blah. You're just...
All right, I'm adding a luck die to my second one.
Okay.
Okay, so it does not explode. That's a little better. That's 25.
That's a hit. Yes.
Okay. Okay, and so jeez. Okay, that's a little better. 10, 11, 15,
You might as well just stop there.
18.
Yeah, you cut it in half. It just you kind of get started twirling everything and you miss your first hit, but then when you come back around with it, you connect and like its eyes grow really wide right before you hit it, and it's like oh, and you cut it in half and it just kind of falls into two pieces.
Okay. So now with dual wielding, can I Oh, it doesn't say that I have to attack the same creature. So
make a perception test to see if you can spot another one.
Okay.
And as the case was with Taraf, they're going to be a little easier to spot.
Okay, so that is an 11.
Ooh, sorry, they actually rolled pretty well, even inhibited. So you're unable to spot another one. But since you're still flailing wildly, I'll let you roll a 1d6 to see if you manage to hit one, and on a 6, you manage to connect with one.
I've got a 5.
Oh, okay. All right. So yes, you whoosh, and you just kind of finish with a follow through, and like you target some tall blades of grass.
Okay, and I would have gotten the luck die back, but that was the luck die you gave me for a previous action.
I'd say take it back anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. So next up is Ishtar.
So now I see a dead one of these, I guess, right?
Yeah. You saw it appear. It's like, ah! And then you saw it get cut in half, rather violently.
It's probably pretty epic. He's just swinging this giant spear, slices one in half, stops, and like some blades of grass like fall down.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. I guess first I'll make the perception check to see if I can even see. We can tell there's more of them though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. I got 11 on my perception.
Okay, they actually got an 11 to hide, so you're able to just barely spot one.
Am I within like sword range?
You would need to move, use one move action to get to move range. You could basically jump in front of one and cut it off, and then make an attack.
Yeah, I haven't used that action, so I will try that. What is my gouge attack? Okay. Actually, my melee defense goes up while wielding this. 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, 13. 13 to hit.
Yeah, these things are lithe. As you stab out towards it, it's able to jump off to the side, and your blade meets grass. Next up is their turn.
Bastard laughed at me.
And two of them will, let's see. They will both pounce on Ishtar. And let's see. $18 against your melee defense.
That does hit.
Okay, they jump down on you, and they bear you to the ground. So you are knocked prone with both of them. They deal their regular damage, which consequently actually isn't that much.
Does the soak take effect? Does the soak still work?
Yeah, soak is going to still apply to this. So this is just slashing damage as they both jump out from invisibility on top of you. And the first one hits you for 5 points of damage, and the second one hits you for 8 points of damage. However, since they attacked you at the same time, it's going to be treated as one attack with a cumulative damage of 8 plus 5, which is 13. So your soak will only apply once.
Okay.
And that was just their first action, is this pounce. Their second action is going to be to continue to claw at you. And since you're knocked prone, you're going to lose... They're going to gain 2d6 on their attack against you, which they're going to spend on damage. Ooh, I almost critted, but I didn't. 10, 15, 19, 24, 27 to hit. I'm assuming that hits.
No. Yeah, it's...
Okay. This time, since they're both ripping and tearing at you on separate actions, your soak will apply for each attack this time, instead of just once. So that was the first attack. Second attack is not as good. A 10, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17 to hit your melee.
Just hits.
Okay. So they both begin ripping and tearing into you. The first one hits you for 5 plus 2 is 7. Apply your soak to that.
Okay.
And the second one hits you for 10 plus 2 is 12. And apply your soak to that.
10 plus 2, okay. Oof, okay.
So yes, the rest of you see these two...
Still alive, but not by much.
These two woodland creatures just bring down Ishtar and begin to rip and tear into his flesh. And they are cackling maniacally as they do so. Tarask, your turn.
So seeing this motion over towards his left, Tarask is going to quickly turn away from how he was faced and over towards Ishtar. Seeing the two shapes, he's going to use his rapid shot on his first attack, and he's going to end up firing 3 arrows. It's okay if I determine them after I roll each time?
Yeah. Yep, you can roll... let's see, your rapid shot, I think, is just one roll, right, for both arrows?
Once per turn, you can fire 2 shots instead of 1. I'm not sure. We could apply. I mean, it will just speed it up. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's.
So, yeah.
I mean.
Okay, so that's going to be a 9, 11, 15. It's a 16.
Maybe roll it again for the other shot too.
That's a bit better, I think. 6, 12, 17, 19, 20.
18 was the magic number you were looking for. So your first arrow goes, hits the ground. The second one contacts, and then you can roll your third attack right now too if you want.
Yeah, sure. I want the same one. So that's going to be 12. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, 6, 12, 18, 24, and more.
Yeah. All right, so 2 of your arrows land into this one, unless you're targeting 2 separate ones. The 2.
Well, that's why I was wondering if I could. I just want to see. I doubt I'll kill him on the first shot, so I'll probably just be applying bolt to the first one. And that's going to be 12 on the first attack.
Yeah, that one doesn't go down, but you get it right in its back.
Oh, sorry. And then another 11 to the same one.
That does bring it down. It it goes and it gets one in the back, and then it's like it turns half a way around to look at you and hiss at you, and then it just goes right through its neck. And Ishtar, as you are kind of trying to block from these claws coming down at you, you see this. You see part of an arrow poke through its little rib, and then you see another arrow just go straight through its neck, and it just comes like really close to touching you, and then a piece of sap blood drips down onto your clothing and begins to burn a little bit through your clothing.
Oh, and I still have one on me, right?
You do still have one on top of you, yeah.
So after the one gets killed in the sap, I just kind of like push that one off me. If I can, I'm probably like.
Yeah, well, this is all happening, and I need to know what Dane is doing. Hopefully, not still babbling incoherently.
Blah, 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 blah. Broke it.
Okay, as your first action, you free yourself from the effects of their magic, and your next action is your choice.
Do I have one in front of me?
No, they would be kind of behind you. You'd have to turn around but you're close enough to just have to turn it, because Ishtar was kind of like right behind you, and he just got taken down, and you're just kind of like wandering around a little bit, talking, going crazy, and then you're like, huh? And you look down and you see Ishtar with one of these things on top of him.
Using my strike that does the heat damage, just my straight normal attack, 5d6 to attack. So essentially, I'm just going to spin around like a spinning punch or a spinning back punch on him.
Okay.
Like I said, remember this is heat damage, which I know will impact them since they are wood. 10, 14, 16, 17.
So add a 2d6 to it, because he is currently no, not 2d6. 1d6 to that, because he's currently kind of preoccupied with what he's doing.
Okay, that gives me a 21.
Okay, that's exactly what you needed to hit. That's the magic number. It's 21.
Okay, and let's see.
They are vulnerable to fire damage, so add a d6 to the damage.
Okay, so it will be.
Ooh, is this crushing? Is this crushing damage as well?
Yes, because my fist.
Okay, that's actually vulnerable to fire and crushing damage. So add 2d6 to the damage overall.
Okay, my normal damage was 3d6 plus 2, so it's now 5d6 plus 2.
It's like this thing just got hit by a train. They only have 20 hit points and 2 soak.
I did 18 points damage.
Okay, so they took 16 of that. So yeah, he's at 4 hit points. However, he does get batted away and knocked off of Ishtar, off to the side. So Ishtar, you're like struggling and then you see this burning fist come and just swat him off like a little fly, and he goes flying about 2 or 3 feet off into the grass, and has this big like smoldering spot on its shoulder where he just got bashed. And then it's Korak's turn.
Okay, so since a lot of these are sort of happening at the same time, can I like try to swat him out of the air as he's flying away?
Yes.
So.
And he's kind of helpless as he flies through the air, so add a d6, because their melee defense kind of assumes that they have some form of mobility. This is just kind of like you're lining up a hit to like hit a baseball. Batters up.
Yeah, only an 18.
So you come just underneath it with your first swipe, but then you come back around with another one.
Okay.
And he's still just, you're like,
okay. 22.
That one hits.
Okay.
Yeah. He only has 4 hit points and 2 soak left, so.
Yes. So it's only 11.
So Korak, what happens to this poor fey creature?
So basically, as I spin, I miss him with the main blade, but catch him with the other the butt end, and he sort of sticks to it. And then I plant it into the ground.
Ooh. Yeah, as soon as you do that, his outer shell kind of just disassembles. It just completely breaks apart and shatters about, leaving behind only some roots that kind of served as veins and this what would appear to be like highly caustic sap blood that smolders into the ground a little bit and kind of makes some popping noises.
And I will then clean my blade off really quickly.
Yeah, you're able to clean it with no problem. The teeth actually, because you would actually think that if this was a metal blade, you'd be worse off. But since it's actually an organic thing, that it just kind of drips off with no problems. And with that, all goes silent until everybody make perception checks.
$13. Would Ishtar been able to? Would I have enough time for him to like stand up or?
Oh yeah. I'm assuming
Probably had a little on the slow side, but.
No,
20.
my perception rolls are terrible.
20.
Ooh. And Russell, I don't know if he's there or not, but oh, yep, there he is.
11 for me.
Okay. Ishtar, what'd you say yours was? 13?
13.
Yep. Basically, Korak, you're the only one who's able to hear this. You hear the voice of a woman a little bit further into this high grass meadow, whatever you want to call it. And it sounds like a woman calling for help, just saying, hello, help. You kind of hear the echoes of it.
The woman's back, and I start heading in that direction.
No.
And Taras is kind of just gonna like put his arms out and look at whoever is looking in his direction. Just be like, really?
I'm not in the best of shape, but we should follow him. Shouldn't leave anybody alone right now.
Dane?
Frame edge, I'm with them, give chase, find out what's going on.
Yeah, so you guys are able to keep pace with Korak. You all make your way out a little bit further into this meadow, and you do indeed see a woman who has slipped her gag and is bound up against a rock, sitting down on the ground. And next to her is a man who has not been able to slip his gag. He's about 2 or 3 feet off to her right, also tied up to a large rock. And as you approach, the woman squints her eyes and she says, as soon as she realizes it's not those little creatures coming towards her, she's like, oh, thank the gods. Please tell me you're here to save us.
Of course.
Taras looks at Dane
Or-
and just says,
The
"Oh,
orc
sorry,
with
go
like
ahead."
blood dripping is like, of course.
What was that, Rory?
Taras looks at Dane and just says, kind of shakes his head, is like, "Why do humans always need so much help?"
Actually, in the dark of night, you don't notice it immediately, but you notice that these are small folk. However, your assumption might be initially that they are indeed humans.
Even worse.
So, you, is that your farm that is right around here?
She
As
said,
I'm untying her.
yeah, and you, she'll take off the gag of her husband. And he'll say, those little tit suckers. Yeah, that's our farm up the way. Man, I can't believe they got us again.
Again.
Yeah, those little hog. I'm having trouble thinking of. Hold on. I'll think of something
Question:
good.
Were you when you were making that statement to Korak? Were you saying it under your breath? Or were you saying it loud enough to be clearly heard?
They weren't insulting Korak. They're talking about the little creatures.
No, the statement about humans needing always calling for help.
Oh no, I was talking to you.
Oh, you were talking to me?
Yeah.
I give you a look. I give you this look that can only be described as one that would say, "You say it again to me, and you'll learn what my fist can really do."
Taraska's gonna give you that look, like PvP. That's what we're doing today. No, I'm just he just looks back at you and says, kind of like, he just shirks, like he just kind of like bobs his shoulders, like, well, what do you want me to say? But he doesn't say anything.
It's just kind of the original comment. He just kind of like shrugged.
He's like, actually, he's gonna put. So this little small folk over there, he's like, those odious ignorant sons of hawks, those little gross beastly bass herders. Yeah, he just starts spitting off profanities, and helps finish untying his himself, and he'll stand up and he'll put his hat back on, which was laying next to the rock. And as Korak, you can see him as clear as day when he stands up. He's a portly little small folk fellow, and his white button-up shirt is ripped at the shoulder, and he's got a little bit of blood on his mouth. However, you're not sure if it's from those creatures or if it's from him trying to like get the gag off with his mouth. And he's like, yeah, they've done this to us before. They're just little tricksters. They like to play jokes. And they're just, thank you for taking care of them. We really appreciate it.
How did you get free of them before?
He said, well, eventually once they've had their fun with us, they just let us go. Because I suppose if we weren't around, they'd have nobody else to pick on. Little rat bastards.
I don't know if I'm understanding. Are you telling me that my friend Korak here has picked a fight with the Fae over a game? A game they play with you?
He'd say, let me see if he's able to read your countenance on this. He is.
His countenance is not good.
Yeah, and he's able to pick up on that, even given the circumstance he just found himself in. He's like, let me rephrase this. It was a game to them. For us, we've almost died out here several times.
And Taras just kind of... He's pissed. But he can't fault the person. They didn't actually ask us to help.
As your
So
rage kind of foments a little bit, you hear the popping of their acidic, caustic kind of sap blood, as it touches the grass. It's like...
And he just shakes his head and looks at Korak and maybe at Dane too, and then Ishtar, and says, we We may have made enemies here today. They're not ones that will treat you kindly. I hope this was worth it.
We might want
The
to.
way I see it, we were
There's any
defending
more-
ourselves.
We might want to go see if there's more around here. Actually, no. We asked the guy how many. I asked the. We didn't get their names. One of the farmers. It says how many of these creatures have like tormented you.
Yeah. When you ask him that, you kind of say, Mr. And he's like, oh, Mr. Tiggles. It's really only ever been these 3. I don't know if there's more. I hope not. They're pests. Cockroaches. Just with magic.
Kind of turned the party, and I'm like, sounds like we might have gotten them, but we may want to make sure that it's all there is.
So Korak, I guess, since his Tarask's, I guess, uncomfortable feelings on this, and I guess we'll pull him aside, sort of ask, do you know what these things are and why they would do this?
The Fae are tricksters. I couldn't possibly pull their exact motive. Everyone's a little different, but that's not the point. It's not why they did it. Fae protect their own. These ones, sure, we can deal with them. Whatever that thing that calls herself my mother is, she got that way, in all likelihood, through the Fae.
Okay. But do you think that it was wrong that we helped these people?
I think that somebody more powerful than them, who they answer to, will eventually come looking for us. I don't know if they were worth it. They're not even full people. They're little half people. It's only equals one full person.
Ah, I see. Okay, well, I guess we'll deal with that when and if it happens. I'm not sorry I helped someone live.
They begin trotting off towards their homestead. And as they do, and you all follow them, they offer you their lodgings for the night. However, as soon as they get there, they see you've already made yourselves quite comfortable there. The man finds a piece of chicken, like poorly cooked chicken, on the ground that somebody decided not to eat. He's like, oh, they must have screwed with our chickens too. Oh, they know no bounds.
I can't believe they do that.
I hope you still have that feather
What?
sticking out of your teeth.
These little forest freaks can't be trusted. And the rest of the night passes uneventfully. As you guys wake up in the morning, which consequently is only another few hours away, Ishtar, actually, before this day ends, technically, you can roll an endurance dice pool to, anybody who's taken damage. I don't think anybody else has. But you can roll your endurance dice pool to regain that many hit points tonight. And then when you wake up...
The endurance,
Ishtar sure did.
Not the the life on the streets exploit.
Okay.
For this too, right?
What? I don't know what that...
it's for my urchin. It's a bonus 1d6 health each day. So is that part of the endurance roll?
Yeah, as long as there's no stipulations to it that say as long as you're in an urban environment or something like that.
No, it's just the urchin.
Okay.
The urchin career or origin, yeah.
Yep, so you can regen that, and then when you guys pick your journey back up, the next day you're able to do that. Let's see how much further you guys have to go here. So you've made it about 90 miles. So you have another 8 times 30, which is 240 miles left in your trip to Nala. It's up to you guys if you want to continue this journey as a detailed journey through each increment, or if you want to switch it to a quick journey where we just roll once for the entire thing and we speed up so we can get to Nala and press the story ahead. It's really more of a question of, do you want this sandbox exploration aspect, or are you more interested in getting to Nala to press the story ahead? It's kind of a meta choice at this point.
I'm coming up in the air.
I'm for Nala.
Yeah, I mean, I could go either way, but then again, I also want to find out who the L sent the Knolls after me.
Yeah, I'm down with Nala.
Okay, then let's do that right now. Let's make one more check. We're starting at 0 fortune, and this is really just to see in what condition you guys arrive. Let me roll for weather really quick. 9. It's a breezy part of the trip, but otherwise is not hindering at all. So you'll be looking for 13s.
Now, we have rations from... Oh, no, that's right, because this is for the whole second part.
Yeah, so this one, I'm actually... This exploit, this time, I'm not going to have it apply. This time I want you to actually roll for your hunting.
Oh, okay. What do I roll for that?
Agility.
Gotcha.
And if you have anything like survival, that'll help. Nature would help too, since you're out in the nature.
I have both. I can only use one though, right?
Right.
So it doesn't matter, actually.
I already rolled my check, and I used a luck die. It exploded. I rolled a 23.
Excellent.
14.
14 for mine.
9 on my check.
Ishtar breaks one of its strings, but all the rest of you do fantastic, and you're able to, you all arrive in Nala with uplifted spirits and full health, full everything. And the journey passes with no further complications. When you arrive at Nala, one of the things that you notice is that this city, first of all, Korak, you've been here. And even to you, who's been here in the big city, you see this place as bustling right now. And Tarask, you, I don't think, have ever been here before. So when you see this and how many people are here, you almost get phobic about it, because there's just so many people here bustling to and fro. There's an ogre carrying, stomping through, carrying a kill over his shoulder, and there's small folk bustling about, and there's humans, and there's high elves, the occasional dwarf. Not too often do you see them, and everybody's bustling about, and it's a very, very active city. When you get past the initial gates and you pull your cart in, Korak, you notice that there are actually, you all notice that there are these statues and portraits of the lords and ladies of Isteran, and they're each done beautifully. And however, where once a large, beautiful statue of Lady Naladri existed, that lay in a pile of rubble. And you notice that any portraits of her have been taken down or destroyed. The hustle and the bustle about the city appears to be because, if you ask around, like, well, what's going on here? It appears to be because the lords and ladies of the land are meeting here, and they're here now. And they bring a bunch of commerce with them. They bring caravans, and they bring all that kind of stuff. And when you guys come pulling in with your caravan, you are immediately approached by a man dressed in this light tan leather tunic and a feathered cap. And he comes up to you guys, and he notices you, Dane, and the accoutrement that you are wearing. And he comes up to you and he says, "Good sir, are you from Palais?"
I was at one time.
He says, "Have you heard any news of the caravan that was supposed to be coming to Nala from there?"
Unfortunately, you are seeing the remains of it now. We were attacked, and most everything was laid to waste.
When you say this, there are some passers-by that can hear you, and everybody is aghast when they hear this, and they're talking, and they, word is spreading quite quickly of what has happened to this caravan. And he says, "Oh my goodness, sir, this is awful. And you are all that remains?"
Yes, unfortunately, myself and my compatriots here who were able to help us defeat the creatures that attacked us. Unfortunately, the rest of the party quite successful.
I'm sorry, can I take us meta for 1 second?
Yes.
I feel like we're all forgetting. Weren't there guards left and a wagon, and didn't they go off on their own to Nala?
That's what I thought too.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank
sorry,
you.
I thought I was misremembering. I just was. I
No,
had to make sure.
you were not misremembering. I was the one misremembering. It's been a while since we had that session, so
No, definitely. It's been a bit. No worries.
Yeah, so you relay that that additional information to him, and he snaps his fingers, and two younger boys come up. They're maybe teen-aged, 14, 15-year-old boys come up, dressed in similar light brown tunics, and the older gentleman says, "Tyler, please take these wonderful gentlemen and inform the..." Oh, actually, he doesn't say take them. He just says, "Inform the lords and ladies that the caravan from Palais has arrived. And they may have questions for them." And then he turns back over to you, Dane, and he says, "Do you know where you'll be staying? We would like to speak with you further about the incident that has happened with you."
I'm just in character going pretty much indicate whichever location we were originally set out to arrive at and stay at. That's where I would intend for us to go.
He's like, "Oh, have you never been to Nala before?"
No, this was my first journey outside of the monastery.
He appears quite intrigued by this, and then he says, "Oh, well," and he begins to, and then he accidentally catches Korak, and he looks at him, and he says, "Oh, could it be the great and wonderful Korak has graced us with his presence again.
I have.
He says, well, this is a treat. However, there has been some talk about Nala, about where you've been and what you've been up to. I hope this time has found you well.
Yes, it has. I have found new friends, conquered new enemies.
There's been a bit of a crowd that has gathered around here, and an indiscernible voice from the crowd shouts, "He's been off being a coward."
Well, that's a first.
Ishtar steps forward, and Korak probably like towers over him, but I like spread out my arms to him. Korak here has been no coward. As he said, he has been running on adventures, making new friends, conquering new enemies.
Another indiscernible voice from the crowd, this time a woman, shouts out, "I heard he ran away because he couldn't handle the arenas anymore."
That is not the case.
A man shouts from the crowd, "Prove it!"
Prove it. Well, let us all travel to, and I name one of the random inns or roadhouses that Ishtar knows. And I will regale everyone with the stories.
Roll 1d6 for me. And I'm going to give you 4 names. Basically, you will have been familiar with. So on a roll of 5 to 6.
Got a 5.
Okay, the one you can choose between these 4 as to which one you know the best. This 5 or 6 roll is the one that you frequented the most, and you can describe it to me, but here are the names. The first one is the Demon Hamster. The second one is Ye Old Duck Pub. The third one is Cruel Nugget Tavern. And the fourth one is Clean Pants Inn.
I'm going to go for the Demon Hamster because that reminds me of Minx from Baldur's Gate.
Okay, so that's the first one that pops to your mind. Now we're going to roll for, and we're just going to go on the list here, the Ye Old Duck Pub. Roll, but don't count it if it's a 5 or a 6.
Okay. I got a 1 on that.
Okay, so that one you've never been to. Let's roll for the Cruel Nugget Tavern.
I got a 6 on that.
Okay, roll that again.
And a 3.
A 3. That one you've been to before. You've even had gigs there, but you didn't like it all that much. And then the Clean Pants Inn, you've never been there either. So you're intimately familiar with the Demon Hamster. You are aware of the Cruel Nugget Tavern, and the other 2 you've never been.
So I'd probably say, like, for all those who are interested and want to hear the truth, come to the Demon Hamster. You shall hear the tales of what Korak has been up to.
And bustling voices in the crowd, and they begin to shuffle off.
I'd probably talk. Ishtar probably talking a lot louder. I don't want to wake up my kids, so I don't want to like yell my thing.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Last thing before we go, I want Tarask to make a perception test for me.
A 14.
Okay. At the base of one of the statues, and they're kind of set apart. They're maybe about 11, 12 feet tall each. Not too large, but large enough to garner attention. Small enough to be very detailed and beautiful. The statue that is taken down and destroyed has bits and pieces of it strewn about, and as you are walking past it, one of the pieces glints and catches your eye, and it catches your attention. However, it's not a piece of the statue. It appears to be a piece of portrait A lot of this seems to be mixed together between like bustling about in the street and everything like that. This was just, you know, the remains of the portrait and the statue seem to be kind of mixed together. And it's a piece of a portrait that catches your eye. You can choose to look at it or not.
Yeah, we'll definitely look at it.
Yes.
I'm kind of like, everything's going on here. I'm definitely interested in a lot of things. Urban life is not my thing, but it's impossible not to be taken in by it.
Yeah, you pick it up and you look at it. And you know, because you've heard from people, and perhaps there is even a broken sign or a broken, stone, like tablet that describes the person, the lord or the lady who was here. And you find a piece of that tablet alongside of this piece of portrait. And you instantly discover that this piece of portrait is of Lady Naladri, the woman who caused all of the ruckus in the big war and changed everything about Isteran. And when you look at the picture, you notice that is the woman you saw in your dreams.
And he'll just kind of let out like, spirits of the world be damned. ...
End of chapter 5.